Hello, this will be the packet finding what percent one number is of another. This will be from pages 110 to 120. So let's get started. Okay, this is our packet. If you want to get it out and do this with me, feel free to do that, or you can pause the video at any time and work the problems ahead of time and then see if you got the right answer. So finding what percent one number is of another. So the formula that we normally would use, pull down my box here so we can make a little bit of a space here. The formula that we would normally use is over of equals P over 100. So this will work for any missing piece of a percent problem. Is over of equals P over 100, and I'm sure I showed you this in the last video as well, but there was a shortcut when you're just finding the percent. But now in this case, we are going to be looking for percent. We might be looking for the is. You might be looking for the of. So the first one here says 8 is what percent of 16? So the way this works is you say 8 is. So the is 8. What percent, that's the question mark, that's what we're going to be looking for, of 16. So 16 is our of. And then we just plug it into our formula. So is on top, so 8 is going to go on top. Of is going to go on the bottom. Of is 16 in this case. Equals, now in our case we're missing P, the percent. That's what they're asking for, that's our question mark. And the 100 is just a given that's always there. So another way to look at this is part over whole. So let me just change colors here. Part over whole. And on the other side, you have to do the same thing. So part over whole. So the percent is the part. And 100 is the whole, because you can't go over 100%, so that's your whole. Put a whole there. So when you do word problems, and you'll get to some of those later in this worksheet packet, you're going to do part over whole versus the is over of, because it will work better when you do word problems for that. But when you have problems like this with a one-line sentence that says 8 is what percent of 16, you can use the is over of equals P over 100. So if you notice, we've got this set up now. So what you do is you cross multiply the two diagonals. So 8 times 100, that's going to give you 800. And then the next part is to take the other number that's left, in our case it's a 16, and divide 800 by the 16. So you cross multiply the two diagonals and you divide by the number that's left. There'll always be one missing piece. So how many 16s go into 80? Well, I believe it's probably going to be 5. Let's give it a try. Let's try multiplying by 5. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 80. Yeah. So 5 goes here. And 5 times 16 is 80. Subtract 80 minus 80. You get 0. But you have one more 0 to bring down. So you bring down the last 0. 16 goes into 0 0 times. So 8 is what percent of 16? The answer is 50%. Now, that's all well and good, but there is a little bit easier method just in reducing the fraction before you cross multiply and divide. So if you notice, and let me just make a little more white space here, have a little bit more spot to draw. If you notice, 8 over 16 can be reduced before you even start cross multiplying and dividing. So we'll set it up as 80 over 16 equals P over 100 again. But now let's reduce 8/16 before we even start. So what would 8/16 reduce to? Well, you can put a 4 into 8, right? You could actually put an 8 into both. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So actually 1/2 is the way you could reduce it down. So I'm just going to cross those off. So now we have 1/2. So then what you would just do is you'd multiply 1 times 100. You'd multiply the diagonals. 1 times 100, that's a lot easier, isn't it? That's 100. And then you would divide by the number that's left, and now it's a 2. So now it's super easy to divide 100 by 2, and that would give you your 50%. So I always say reduce it first, then cross multiply and divide. But I wanted to show you that it came out the same either way. Okay, let's try another one. Let me clear this. Let's take a look at one down further. Let's look at row 4. 75 is what percent of 90? So if you want to pause the video and try it first yourself and then see if you get the same answer, go right ahead and do that, and I'm going to start working the problem. Okay, 75 is what percent of 90? 75 is the is, 90 is the of, P is the missing part, percent is missing, P over 100. And then we have 75 is the is, that's the part, 90 is the whole. And now what I want to do is first I want to reduce 75 over 90 so that I have smaller numbers to deal with when I'm cross multiplying and dividing. So I can see that I believe 15 will go into 75. So let's see, 15 times 5 maybe? 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. Yes, so 15 goes into 75 and it goes into 90. So I just erased my white box, but that's okay. So 15 into 75 was, what was it again? Let's just undo for a second here. Bring it back. Oh, 5. Okay. So we're going to cross this off, and 15 and 75 goes 5 times. And actually, how many times will 15 go into 90? Well, 2 15s will give you 30. 4 15s will give you 60. 6 15s will give you 90. So it's going to be 6. 2, 4, 6. And if you want to prove it to yourself, we can try 15 times 6, and we'll get 30, carry the 3, and we get 90. Yes, so 5, 6, we reduced it down to. So now we cross multiply. 5 times 100, what's that, right? 500. And then we divide by the number that's left, and now it's a 6. So 500 divided by 6. 6 goes into 50. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 8 is 48. 50 minus 48 is 2. Bring down the 0. How many 6s in 20? 3 times 6 is 18. So 3. And it gives you an 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. So we could, if we put another 0 here and went down, we notice that it's going to be a repeating 3. So I'm just going to make it 83, and I'm going to put the 2 up here, the remainder, 2 6, and then I'm going to reduce 2 6. So what I'm going to end up writing for my answer is 83, and reducing 2 6, I get 1/3, and then the percent sign. So 75 is 83 and 1/3% of 90. Did you get that one right? Good. Okay, let's clear that one. take a look and see here. Get any harder ones. Let's try number 10 here, row 10, first problem. Try to put that white box back again and hope that it stays. And 4 is what percent of 200? Same thing, is over of. We got the is. 4 is our is. What's our of? 200. Equals, and we're missing percent, so that's our P over 100. Now before I do anything further, I'm going to reduce my 4 over 200. So let's use a different color. 4 goes into 4 one time. How many times does 4 go into 200? Well, we put a 5 there. We bring that down, so 50, right? 4 times 50 is 200. Yep, so that's our new number. Let's pick a different color here. Let's do purple. We're gonna cross multiply 1 times 100. That gives you 100. And then we're going to divide by the number that's left, which is our case 50. So pretty easy on this one. 100 divided by 50 is, right, 2. So 4 is what percent of 200? It is 2%. Okay? All right, we'll get to practice that a little bit more further down with some word problems. So let's clear. Scroll down a little bit. Finding what percent one number is of another, applying your skills. Okay, now we get to do this with word problems. This is where I said that it's better to think of it as part over whole equals part over whole. So the is over of isn't really going to work because you're not really seeing the word is and the word of in the word problem. So let's do the first one. Go it here. There are 24 members in a community block association. Only 18 of them came to their winter meeting. What percent of the members attended the meeting? So in this case, we're going to do part over whole. Kind of have to think about it a little bit more with the word problems, which is my part, which is my whole. We know we're looking for what? We know we're looking for what percent. So again, P is going to just be our missing part. And we know the whole is going to be 100. The whole is always 100. So now we got to figure out what's the part and what's the whole. So altogether, what's the total number of members? 24, correct. So 24 is our whole, goes on the bottom. What is our part? 18, right? 18 is the other number in the problem. And then equals P over 100. I'm going to use the shortcut method and reduce 18 24ths. I believe 6 will go into both. If I put 6 into 18, I get 3. If I put 6 into 24, I get 4. So now, just take a look for a second. 3/4 equals P over 100. What percent is 3/4 of a percent of 100? Think about it in terms of quarters. If there's 100 cents in a dollar, how many quarters would you need to get to what cost? How much is a quarter worth? 25 cents, right? So 3/4 would be 75 cents is what I was trying to say. So 3/4 is going to be 75%, but we can prove it. So 3 times 100 is 300. But if you notice that, you can just avoid having to multiply it all and divide. And you notice that the fraction is 3/4 or 1/2 or 1/4. So if it was 1/4, it'd be 25%. If it was 1/2, it'd be 50%. So 4 goes into 30. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 subtracted from 30 is 2. Bring down the 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. There's your 75%. So if you don't recognize that 3/4 is 75%, you can just do the cross multiply and divide. Let's try another one. Just going to try to clear my, try to keep the part over whole part up there. Let's see. And let's try. Well, let's try number 7. Margaret is reading a book that is 288 pages long. If she has already read 96 pages, what percent of the book has she read? Okay, what's your part? What's your whole? Okay, your part is your 96. Your whole is all the pages in the book, 288, they're telling us. And that equal to P for percent over 100, because the question is asking us for percent. What percent? Right around here. So I'm going to try to reduce this bigger fraction first. So I think 4 will work for sure. So if I was to take 4, let's just kind of go off to the side and divide 96 by 4 here and see what we get. 4 goes into 9. 2 times 4 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the 6. 4 goes into 16 4 times. So if you divide 4 into 96, you get 24. And if you divide 4 into 288, let's see what you get. Probably might be able to reduce this again, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to reduce it by 4 and see what happens from there. 4 goes into 28. 4 times 5, 4 times 6, 4 times 7 exactly is 28. 28 minus 28 is 0. Bring down my 8. 4 goes into 8 twice. So that reduces down to 72. And I can keep going a little further, it looks like, because I know 2 will work. Actually, 8 will work, because 9 times 8 is 72. So if I divide 72 by 8, I get 9. And if I divide 24 by 8, I get 3. And look, I can even go further. Look at that. 3 divided by itself is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 1/3 is what I'm going to use. So let's clear a little bit of this away now that we figured this out here. And so 1/3 of 100 is basically what the question is. So 1 times 100 is 100. And I'm going to divide that by the number that's left, which is our 3. And you're going to see it's going to become a repeating number. 3 goes into 10 3 times. That gives you 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. Bring down the 0. We're going to get 10 again. So it's another 3. And then I would get 9. And I'd have a remainder of 1. So it would be 33 and 1/3%. Let's write that over here. 33 and 1/3%. There we go. Okay, I think you get the idea on how to do those kind of problems. Let's move down here to finding a percent of change. This one's a little bit different. Just go to one of the problems. So there's going to be a slight change in the formula. It's still very similar to what it was, but a slight change is actually going to be, instead of is over of or part over whole, especially for word problems, you're going to use change on top, whatever the change was in the amount. And on the bottom, you're going to have the, and this is, be careful on this, you're going to have the original amount, original, not the new amount, the original. Original, and can you guess what it's going to be set equal to? What's it going to equal? It's going to abbreviate amount, AMT, because it's hard to write with the mouse. Yes, the other side is going to be your P, over 100, right? So that's the only difference. So it's just one extra step. So let's take a look at the first one and see what it says. A color TV that originally sold for $380 was on sale for $285. By what percent was the original price discounted? We're looking for percent. What percent? So our change, first we have to figure that out. What is our change? Well, it was 380 and now it's 285. So let's figure out our change. 380. Got it figured out already. It's in your head. Before I can even get my mouse to write the numbers, right? 380 minus 285 is our change. 8 becomes a 7. 10 from 5 is 5. 3 becomes a 2. This becomes 17 minus 8 is 9, right? So, and then 2 minus 2 is 0. So 95 is our change. So that's going to go on top. 95. What is our original amount? Careful, because sometimes it can be an increase in price, sometimes it can be a decrease. Ours is a decrease. So the original amount is the 380, right? Okay. And then we have equals P over 100. So notice the change is on top instead of the part, right? Change is what we're looking for. So now we could reduce 95 over 380, and I know 5 will work for sure. Probably something bigger than that, but let me make a little white space here. So if I was to divide 95 by 5, it's probably going to be 15, right, or something like that. 5 goes in there one time. 9 from 5 is 4. Bring down the 5. 5 times 9 is 45, so 19. So if I divide 95 by 5, I get 19. And if I divide 380 by 5, I get 5 times 7 is 35, 5 times 8 is 40, so 5 times 7 is 35. 38 minus 35 is going to give me 3. And I bring down my 0. 5 goes into 36 times. 5 times 6 is 30, so this will be 76. That helps reduce it a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to multiply, get a different color here. 19 times 100 would be 1900. I can squeeze that in over here. And then I'm going to divide by the number that's left. In our case, it's 76. So we're going to see how many 76s will go into 190. 76. Let's try 5. Nope, that's going to be too big. Let's try 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry the 1. 10, 7 is 21 plus 1 is 22. That's too high. Let's try 76 times 2. 12, carry the 1. 152. That'll work. Okay, so 2 times. That's 152. Subtract. 9 becomes 8. 10 from 2 is 8. 8 from 5 is 3. So 38. Bring down the 0. 380. And we already have an answer up here because you know 5 times 76 is 380. So it's going to be a 5. So that's our answer. So how much was the original price discounted? What was the change? So the answer is 25%. 25%. Okay, let's try another one. I'm going to try to keep my original equation up there. and erase all of this. And we'll look for another problem. And again, if you want to pause the video and try it first, and then if you got it right, I'm all for that. So, okay, erase that one. Let's go to number 6. The Lincoln family bought their house in 1973 for $28,000. They sold the house. Oops, don't want to do that. They sold the house in 1999 for $140,000. By what percent did the value of the house increase? Okay, by what percent? That means we're looking for percent, so we know we're going to have a P over 100 on this side. And on the other side, we're going to have change on top. So it was 140,000. I mean, it was 28,000. It went up to 140,000. So we could subtract 140,000 minus 28,000. 0, 0, 0. 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. 4 becomes a 3. 10 from 8 is 2. 3 from 2 is 1. 112,000. Yes. So 112 goes on top. That's your change. 0, 0, 0. And on the bottom is your, which number goes on the bottom? Yes, the original amount. What was the original amount? Be careful on that. Right, 28. This is an increase problem, right? So 28,000. Now I'm going to just get rid of my zeros because every zero that has a 0 above it, I can get rid of. Get rid of all those 3 zeros. And now it's easier to reduce. 112 over 28. So 4 will work. Let's try 4. 112 divided by 4. 4 goes into 11 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. 8, 9, 10, 11. 3. Bring down the 2. 4 times 8 is 32. So crossing that off, dividing 112 by 4 gives us 28. And dividing 28 by 4 gives us 7, right? 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, and we can actually reduce that even further because 7 will go into 28 4 times, and 7 will go into itself once. We have 4 over 1. So this makes it super easy. We are now, let's get a different color here, multiplying 4 times 100, which is 400. Let's watch how easy this is. Dividing it by the number that's left. In our case, it's 1. So 400 divided by 1 is 400, right? So by what percent did the value of the house increase? 400%. There you go. Okay. That's clear. Let's go on to finding a number when a percent of it is given. Okay, so this time something different is going to be missing. Again, you have your one-liners here. You have your little phrases, the is and the of. So you can use your is and your of formula for this. And make some space here. So 25% of what number is 8? Well, we are given the 8 is, right? Of is the missing part. Of is our question mark. Of what number? And 25 is the percent, so we're given P. So you're doing the same formula, is over of equals P over 100. But you have a different part missing this time. So you're given the is was 8. Of is the missing part this time, so we're going to put, we'll just put an X, because we don't know what it is. And P this time is the number with the percent sign with it, so 25 over 100. Okay, you do the same thing. First, let's reduce. This time we're reducing 25 over 100. So that becomes 25 divided by itself is 1. 100 divided by 25 is 4. So we're going to cross multiply 8 times 4 this time and divide by the number that's left. This time the number left is over here. So 4 times 8 is 32. And we're going to divide 32 by 1. So the number that's missing, and be careful now, we already are given percent. So the number that's missing is 32, not with a percent sign. So you could say that 8 is 25% of 32. So that is our answer. Okay, let's erase what I can here. Try to keep my formula up there. Okay, let's look at one of these ones with a fraction. 33 1/3% of what number is 25? So what I'm going to do first is change 33 1/3% over to an improper fraction. So 33 times 3 is 99 plus the top number is 100. So this is now 100 thirds. Let's see 100 there. 100 thirds percent. Same thing, just change it to improper. So we can use our same formula. I'll show you how this works. A little bit of space here, so we've got lots of writing space. So our percent is given. In this case, it's 100 over 3. And we're going to put that over 100 because 100 over 3 is our P. Put that all over 100 equals our is 25 and our of is the missing part. We'll put an X there. Of what number is missing. So we're going to cross multiply and divide. But before I do that, I'm going to reduce this whole piece here. So what I really have in this part here, what I'm really saying is 100 over 3 divided by 100. Right? Because that's what a fraction means. But when I do division of fractions, what I'm really doing is 100 over 3. I'm using keep, change, flip. So keep the first fraction, change the sign to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. Well, we don't have a fraction, but we can make it one if we put a 1 underneath. So flip the second fraction, 1 over 100. And that will give us, cross off our 100s, that'll just give us 1/3. So this whole thing now has just become 1/3. This whole piece is now 1/3. And that's equal to 25 over x. And now we cross multiply. 25 times 3, that's 75, right? And we divide it by the number that's left. Easy peasy, it's a 1. So 75 divided by 1 is just 75. So the answer to our problem is 75. And it's not percent because the percent is given. We're trying to find the whole is what we're trying to find, the of. So 25 is 33 1/3% of 75. Okay, let's clear. And the last part is using the word problems again. So we're going to use the part over whole equals P over 100 formula. And I believe this is close to the last. I think the last of these are, let me just double check here, recognizing types of percent problems. So let's try number 1. Morris has saved $80 towards the purchase of a new VCR. The $80 is 50% of the price. What is the price? So we know that he saved $80. We don't know the price, but he saved 50% of that price. Okay, and I'm going to reduce 50 over 100 down to 1/2. And now I can cross multiply and divide, or I can just say that, well, I know what, if 80 is 1/2 of a number, we just have to double multiply, right? Let's just do this. 80 times 2, 160, and divide by the number that's left, which is our 1, so 160. The price of the VCR is $160. Okay, so that's how those work. I'm going to go way down here to recognizing types of problems. All of these, the is over of will work. Is over of equals P over 100. We just have different missing parts. So for example, this is missing what percent. This is missing the is. What is 30% of 110? This is missing the percent. This is missing, find 12.5% of 720. That's missing the is. That's from the previous packet. 15 is 25% of what number? We're missing the of here. So you got to look through it. You can use the same formula, just different things will be missing. I'm going to show you that. Then down here we get to different types of word problems. You're still going to use part over whole equals P over 100, or if it says the word increase or decrease, you're going to use change over original amount equals P over 100. So let's look at number 5. I'm not going to do these problems. I'm just going to take a look and see what's missing. Of the 500 employees at the Ajax Electronics, only 6% go to work by public transportation. How many employees at Ajax use public transportation to get to work? So this one actually has the word of in it. So there are a total of 500 employees. So that's going to be your whole. Your is, how many employees are Ajax? That's going to be your part. That's the part we don't know. And you know the percent, 6. And you know the 100 is always there. And now you're ready to reduce your 6 over 100, cross multiply, and divide. So let's look at number 7. Let's clear this. The Moore family expects to spend $1,200 on their summer vacation. So far, they have saved $900 towards their vacation. What percent of the cost have they saved? Okay, now this one is looking for percent. So you do part over whole equals P over 100. The part, 900. The whole, 1,200. And this case, P is missing. So we're going to solve for P. Reduce your 900 over 1,200 before you cross multiply and divide. Make it a lot easier with your numbers. Okay. Let's look at number 8. The sales tax rate in Linda's state is 5%. How much tax does she have to pay on a shirt that costs $29? Okay, so you're given the percent over 100. You are given the 29, right? 29 is the whole, and you're missing the amount of tax. Now be careful. Oh yeah, it's just saying how much tax. If it would say how much does she have to pay including tax, then you have to add the tax to the amount. That doesn't say that though, so we're okay. Okay, let's see if there's any others with an increase. I'm just looking to see if there's any with that. Doesn't look like it. So number 11, let's look at that. One of the 360 people who took a qualifying exam for an inspector's job, 55% of those people passed. So there's a total of 360, that's your whole. We're missing the part, and we're given the 55% over 100. So yeah, so give those all a try. I believe we're at the bottom of our paper. We are. So stop sharing and give those a try and reach out with any questions that you have. So have a good day. Bye.